If your diet plan fails every time you step out of the house, this video is for you. I'm gonna show you how to eat out and still lose fat without being that awkward person who's just eating a chicken breast in front of everyone else. And by the end, you have a simple and repeatable framework that you can use on vacations, client dinners, birthday parties, buffets, you name it. And I have created and called this the 3R method: reduce, replace, and request. It is the exact framework that I give to all of my busy professional clients so that they can still go out and eat and still look amazing. And now, before we jump in, a quick reality check. Most people don't fail their diet plan because they can't train. They fail because they don't know how to handle food outside of their kitchen. Eating out is always a gamble. You don't control the oil, you don't control the sauces, you don't control the portions. So what happens is you end up trying 1 out of 3 of these approaches, which always end up backfiring on you. The first approach, the all or nothing promise. You swear off restaurants for a month, you say no to every single social invite, and maybe it works for a couple days to a week, but life happens. You've got a birthday party coming up, maybe your partner cooks for you, or maybe you just have to have dinner with a client. So you show up, you feel deprived, and you lose all self-control. And the next day, you're completely repulsed by the scale. You don't even want to step on it because you feel like an absolute failure. Now, you didn't fail because you lacked discipline and willpower. You failed because you're trying to run before you can even crawl. The second approach, I'll just eat healthy. So what this looks like is you walk to a restaurant and you order a salad thinking it's gonna fit into your calories, but you forgot to take into account the fact that it is drenched in high-calorie sauces. It's got croutons, it's got cheese as toppings, and a lot of nuts too. Pause. So it tastes amazing, but that salad might as well be 800 calories. And later, you're asking yourself why your weight went up. And now the third approach, and the one that I hear the most from all of my clients, is I will make it up for it later, which we know is cap. So what this looks like is you go big tonight and then you say tomorrow and for the next week, I'm just gonna starve myself. I hate to break it to you, but nobody's body works that way. You're gonna feel super hungry, you're not gonna be able to keep that hunger off for very long, and then you're gonna go rebounding, and that's how people end up in yo-yo diets. So what happens next is you feel guilty, you start labeling yourself as someone who doesn't have discipline, doesn't have control, and so you just give up on your diet plan, you eat whatever you want, and then you just get stuck in this perpetual nightmare loop of I want to get lean, but every time I try, I fail. Now, if any of these 3 approaches sound familiar, I want to give you some hope. You don't need to choose between a social life and looking good. You just need a method that works with how restaurants operate and how your brain works in any social setting. And the way is just the 3R method. So what does 3R stand for? Like I said, reduce, replace, request. You can think of it as 3 different levers that you can pull in any particular social situation. Most of the time, you're gonna need at least 1 of the R's. Some nights, you're gonna need 2 of the R's. And if you're having a really big night, you might need to use all 3. It's kind of like the Infinity Stones. 1's good, 2's better, 3's the best. So let's start with the first R, reduce. This means reducing the calories by controlling portions or compensating elsewhere. Before the meal, if you know dinner is going to be calorie dense, save your calories for dinner. So you kind of want to imagine your calories like a financial budget for the day. If you're only supposed to be having 1,800 calories per day, that's like only having $1,800 to spend for the day. And so if you know dinner is going to cost you $1,000, it wouldn't be super wise to spend $1,000 for both breakfast and lunch, now would it? If at this point of the video, you're wondering, what should my calorie budget even be? Well, I actually made this video called How to Get Abs in 60 Days, where I actually go through not just the calories you should be consuming for your body fat percentage, but also the specific macronutrient split for yourself so that you can see abs in just 60 days. And if you want to know more about that, check out this video. Anyway, back to it. So instead of just eating whatever you want before dinner or not eating anything at all, which is a very big mistake, try starting your day with lean protein and a lot of fiber, which comes in vegetables and fruits. Studies show that consuming a protein-rich meal earlier in the day reduces hunger levels and thereby also reduces your energy intake. It's simple. It's just very satiating, otherwise known as very filling foods. For example, you could have a protein shake and an apple for breakfast, a big salad with lean protein for lunch, and maybe a small snack like a Greek yogurt in the afternoon. So you arrive at dinner, you're not starving, you're hungry enough that you can enjoy dinner and still fit all the calories within your budget. Now, the goal is not Hunger Games. You don't want to pull up super hungry because that's where you risk overeating because you can't control yourself. And that's where a hunger scale like this comes in really handy. You don't want to be 0, like completely starving. You kind of want to be around 4 or 5 so that you're hungry enough but not too hungry. Another aspect of reduce is actually pre-deciding your limits beforehand. If you're gonna go to a birthday party and you know there's gonna be pizza, tell yourself, I'm gonna have 1 slice instead of 5 slices. If you're gonna drink, tell yourself, I'm gonna have 1 drink instead of 3 drinks. Because setting that intention helps you to stick to a reasonable amount that you have come to an agreement with yourself. Obviously, by reducing the portion sizes, you're gonna be drastically reducing the calories you're gonna be consuming in a day. Now, what about during the meal? Now, obviously, restaurants don't give a shit about your diet plan. Their portions simply don't care. Now, one simple trick I like to teach my clients is use the half plate rule on big plates. So if you have a big portion served to you, just cut the food in half and have that. Or simply ask for a smaller plate so that when you do put the food on your plate, it looks a lot more appetizing and it looks like a lot more food, but you're actually consuming fewer calories. Most people tend to eat whatever's on their plate. So just by reducing the size of your plate, you can actually reduce the amount of calories you'll be consuming. Research shows that selecting large portion sizes actually increases food intake. This obviously raises the risk of weight gain, and basically any intervention that reduces your portion sizes actually reduces your energy intake. So this applies for buffet restaurants or regular restaurants. If you can use a small plate, use a small plate. And if you don't really have a choice and they're gonna serve you a large portion of food, just ask for half of it to be taken away or just share it with a friend or maybe a colleague. So why is reduce so much better than any of the old approaches? Well, it's because you don't have to sacrifice your social life just to get leaner. You can still go out, still have food with your loved ones, with your colleagues, with your friends, with your workmates, and still actually get the body that you desire. It's a much more sustainable approach. The second R is replace. Replace is all about swapping high-calorie items for low-calorie alternatives that still hit the spot. You'd be surprised because little changes can actually save you hundreds of calories within the same meal. For instance, if you're having Macca's and you're having a burger, instead of having fries on the side, have a cup of corn instead. Or instead of having carbonara in an Italian restaurant, try having pasta that has tomato as its base sauce, such as a marinara. And if you want something sweet at the end of your meal, or the dessert, instead of having a 500 calorie sundae, try having a 150 calorie sorbet. Now, if you're drinking, instead of having a beer or cocktails, try going for light beers or just spirits. Now, if you like soda like myself, instead of just having regular soda with all those empty calories, try having Coke Zero, Sprite Zero, or just sparkling flavored water instead. Now, even if you're traveling for leisure or for work, like a lot of my clients do, instead of just eating whatever's available, which, let's be real, usually does not fit within your calorie budget, you can really just hop into a 7-Eleven, buy some eggs, buy some chicken breast, buy some rotisserie chicken from the supermarket, get some fruits, and your meals are settled. Now, a lot of supermarkets and convenience stores actually have food that's already ready to eat. So as long as you go in there with the right intentions, you come out just fine. And if you don't know what to pick, literally just Google XYZ food lower calorie alternative. Again, research in nutrition shows that when you choose foods that are high in protein, high in fiber, or high in water content, you naturally consume fewer calories because there's just so much more satiating. Essentially, you just want to replace any calorie-dense foods like fried foods, fries, burgers, ice cream, pizzas, and all the stuff with nutrient-dense foods. So why does replace actually beat the old approach? This is actually one of my favorite R's because instead of just thinking about restricting yourself and cutting out foods, you're actually learning, teaching yourself how to make healthier swaps so that you can still go to the same restaurants, still go to the same places that you want to eat at, but choose healthier foods that fit your calorie budget. And this is going to be something that you have to learn anyway if you want to stay lean for the rest of your life. Because there's no way that you can just get lean and stay lean if you don't actually make these fundamental shifts to your health very early on. Now, the third R, request. This is where we ask for small changes in our meal or even ask for additions to our meal so that we can actually keep our calories within control without having to be super restrictive. So, like my first 2 points, during the meals, you want to request for more lean protein and fiber, whether that comes in the form of vegetables or fruits. Again, super satiating, gonna keep you full, much better on a diet. And I don't want to hear you say, oh, they don't make our food like that in this restaurant. I don't want people around me to think I'm weird. Man, you shouldn't be shy about advocating for what you want for your own health and fitness goals. Because if you're constantly going to be shy about these things, or you're going to think people are going to judge you, then when are you ever going to get the result that you want? When are you ever going to prioritize yourself for the goals that matter to you? Like, one simple thing I do at every single restaurant is that I ask for all the sauces, no matter what the sauce is, to just be separated from the meal so that I can take however much or however little of the sauce I want and just put it over my meal, like just drizzle that on so that I'm in control of the calories and they're not in control of the calories for me. You can also request for your protein to be grilled instead of fried, to request for them to use less oil instead of drowning in oil. And if we're talking about hawker center context in Singapore, you can ask for the leaner forms of char siu instead of the fattier forms of char siu. Like, you can literally request for whatever you want. For example, I literally know this guy who used to go to Torrey Q, requested for no sauce at all, no sauce on any of the skewers he was gonna order, extra seaweed, extra pickles until it was filled to the brim, and that's how he had his lunch every single day. This was the same guy that would go to a mala store, and instead of having noodles, usually it's drowning in oil and a lot of sauce, he would just have rice, ask for his lean protein sauces like the beef to be just boiled, no sauce at all, no fat at all. He would bring his own seasoning and he would add his own sauces so that he was in complete control of every single calorie he was consuming. Now, granted, I didn't like this mala meal, and neither should you really do this because it does get a little bit extreme, but this goes to show you that if you really wanted to, no matter where you're at, you can request for very specific things so that you're not just eating whatever they shove down your throat. Another huge part about requests is actually requesting support. Now, it's really important to let the people closest to you within your inner circle know about your goals and what you're trying to do to achieve them, because most of the times I find that people don't really fail the diets because of them alone. It's also because the people around them don't actually really know what it takes to get abs, to get lean, to lose this amount of fat. So they continue eating whatever they want without realizing that their actions impact how their friends would actually go out and eat and what kind of choices they would make. And that's why I always say that you are the average of the top 5 people you spend the most time with. Because if the people closest to you don't actually care that much about their health, don't care that much about their nutrition, and they don't really understand what you need to do in order to reach your goals, they're not really also going to support you, and you're gonna kind of feed off of them, right? Their actions are gonna bleed into your life. You start mimicking them, which is why you have never looked the way you wanted to look, because truthfully, the people around you don't really care about their own health and fitness. There actually is a psychological phenomenon where people tend to mimic the eating habits of their group. If your friends are health conscious, you're probably gonna eat like them. But if they're not, you shouldn't really wonder why you look the way you do. So I do want to challenge you. You should be the person who sets the example, right? Sets the tone for your entire group. If you get to choose healthier restaurants, if you get to choose healthier meals, even when you do go out and eat, most of the times your friends are going to look at you and think, wow, this guy really cares about his health. This guy really cares about his goals. Maybe I should care about mine too. And then sometimes they actually do copy you, which sets the tone for everyone else in the group. Now, why does request be the old approach? This is by far the best art. It's because it's all about addition. It's all about requesting for the environment that you want to be in. It's all about requesting for specific things in your meals that you need. With the other 2 R's, it's a little bit more restrictive. It's all about cutting this out or swapping this out. But with this R, it's all about asking for more. We don't want to be in a scarcity mindset. We want to be in a mindset of abundance. We want more in our life. Because if you always think, I'm scared of this, I'm scared of that, you're constantly removing many variables from your life. And that might make you feel like your life is miserable. But if you can have more things, more food, more experiences, you might actually feel that life is a lot more enjoyable and your cut won't actually suck. Now, it's cool and everything, me just yapping about it, but how about I show you how I would do it if I was the average busy working professional in Singapore. Now obviously I'm employed by myself. I don't actually work a desk job. So I'm gonna order all the food in a single day. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna order, how I'm gonna change the order, and how this can literally halve the calories by just using the 3R method. So stay tuned. So first we're gonna think like an average Singaporean, average busy professional in Singapore. What would they eat? Now I'm a little bit biased because obviously I can't have anything I wanna eat. But one thing I do know that Singaporeans love to eat is Tori Q. So we gonna get some Tori Q. So as a Singaporean, as an average busy professional, I'm probably gonna pick like, you know, things most on the right side, the fried side. Okay, I want to get just regular rice. Okay, and then I'll get one super jumbo sausage. Okay, one tontoro pork, one stick of the crispy karage, one deep fried siu mai, one chicken ball. Okay, now time for the healthy order. One more pack. This time less rice, please. 4 sticks of chicken fillet. No sauce, and one nitamago. Oh, and also give me more seaweed, please. Yes, please, more seaweed. Okay, it's honestly a little bit dumb how I ordered the lunch. Like, I ordered Tori Q for lunch first. I should be going to Macca's right now, and yeah, some of you are really just straight up be eating food from McDonald's, so never mind, we're gonna get something else that people eat instead, which are curry puffs. Hi, can I get one curry puff? Like one chicken curry puff, please? Okay, now that we've settled both breakfast and lunch for a busy professional in Singapore, it's time to get dinner. And usually dinner is had at a hawker center. So let's go get some food. We've reached our place. Give me the pork chop fried rice. No spring onions, please. Now, I mean, I'm gonna assume that that's what some people eat for dinner, man. So now we're gonna see like what else we could order that isn't this unhealthy. Hello, I'll get a standard portion of chicken, no skin, no sauce, no rice.
Okay.
Just a $4. Okay. Or you can put just a little bit of sauce. A little bit of sauce, yes. Alright, now we got our last bag of food, which is the chicken rice. Oh no, I haven't gotten my fried rice yet. 来一个是我的，谢谢。Now time to get choggy or chogi. Who knows? Who knows how to pronounce it? Thank you. We got so much food. Let's bring out the goodies. Boom. Boom. The pork chop fried rice. So look at all the food we have. Now, I'm gonna separate this according to like what a busy professional would have. You know, someone who doesn't care about their diet, doesn't really know what to do when they do eat out. And someone who's a little bit more conscious. Me. It's just like a little pastry for breakfast. Yeah, a rather big lunch. And then a medium-sized dinner and a drink, right? Okay, we're gonna calculate the calories later, but that's it. So this is what some people consider like, I don't eat a lot of food. I don't eat a lot of food. Like, I barely eat something for breakfast, you know. I don't snack. I don't eat chocolates. I don't eat chips. I don't eat ice cream, right? I hear people tell me that all the time. Like, you know, I just eat my 3 meals in a day. And like, even when I have a bubble tea or whatever, I just choose a regular tea and stuff. So yeah, that's what it looks like, okay? Now we're gonna go to what you could order if you went to the same places, but you know, you're obviously more conscious about your food choices and you know, you're trying to get lean, you're trying to get shredded. What could you have ordered instead? So for breakfast, let's say you don't want to eat breakfast, okay? Let's say breakfast is not a super essential thing for you. We are gonna prepare something in a bit just in case like you want to have something so you can bring something from home to eat. But let's just start with lunch. So lunch, same thing, Tori Q. But this time you get chicken fillet, you get an egg, you get less rice, and you get more seaweed, okay? And why do you want to do that? Well, because if you cut down all the fried stuff, obviously you're cutting down all the calories. If you get chicken fillet, it's lean, it's really lean chicken. It's almost like eating chicken breast, but it's more tender. You get a little egg in there just so that you have a little variety. Less rice so that there's fewer calories. More seaweed because there's a lot of fiber in seaweed, and seaweed can be quite satiating, or rather it'll make you quite full if you have more of it. So, you know, same food spot, you know, Maybe I have breakfast, maybe I don't. Let's say I do, I'll show you in a bit. Then we go to Tori Q, we get our lunch. And then, you know, maybe I need a little tea. I just want to drink something throughout the day, you know, have a little bit of sweetness. I'll just get the glutinous pure green tea from Chargi. Instead of getting the large size, I'll get a smaller size. I didn't even reduce the sugar, to be honest. There's just no milk in this, so obviously fewer calories there. So boom, this stays on the right hand side. And then dinner time, you know, I go to the hawker center, but instead of getting the pork chop with fried rice, instead I go to the chicken rice store, right? And more often than not, in all of you guys like nearby hawker centers, there probably is a chicken rice store. This is like staple Singaporean hawker center food, right? And okay, wow, I didn't expect them to give this little chicken, but say, you know, you're not gonna get this, you're not gonna get Thai fan, you just wanna get chicken rice. Instead of ordering, you know, shao ji or like roast chicken with the actual chicken rice, right, like ji fan, a lot of the calories comes from the skin, a lot of calories comes from the oil that they put on the sauce, right? And if you didn't know, right, roast chicken is actually fried. I found that out recently. So you're always better off going with steamed chicken instead. And what I did differently was I just asked for it without any skin and just with a touch of the sauce. You might not be able to see it, but there's just a little bit of sauce at the bottom, and that's all. That's all I'm having for dinner. And then instead of having chicken rice, right, which, you know, this store only sells chicken rice, I just bought white rice instead from the nearby Thai fan store. Okay, and instead of eating all the rice, maybe I'll have half of the rice. So let me put that out. So I got my nice little food weighing scale here with me, and we're just gonna see how much rice they typically give in the Thai fan store. I think it's somewhere around 200, like high 200s to 300. Yeah, okay, so they gave 263 grams of rice, which if you look at that, I mean, it's not an incredible amount of rice, but yeah, it's a good portion. So if we ate like half of that, you know, if I took out half, sort of like put this bag in a bag. So there you go. That would be half the rice portion if you just decided to ask for like half the portion instead. So if you had this for dinner, just like all the chicken in the box. Tell me you can't still eat out and actually lose weight. Like, you didn't have to cook, you didn't have to buy anything, like you didn't have to prepare anything, you didn't have to clean up after yourself, you didn't have to meal prep. All you had to do was just buy chicken rice, or rather chicken from the chicken rice store. And if they don't even have white rice, which is obviously fewer in calories as compared to chicken rice, you can just get it from the Thai fan store. Half portion that shit out. That's it, that's your dinner. This is the absolute difference between someone who knows what they're doing and someone who doesn't, right? Over here, we got a shit ton more calories, right? Just ordering whatever we want. You know, not really being conscious about the choices that we make. Over here, right, we're being smart. We're applying the 3R method, right? Obviously here we applied the reduce, right? Reducing the amount of rice, right? Replace, right? Not actually having the roast of fried chicken, instead getting steamed chicken, right? And we also use request by requesting for more seaweed over here, right? Oh, I also didn't tell you guys, but there's like less sauce in this Tori Q lunch. So yeah, honestly, that's all it takes, you know? Now it's time to calculate out the calories. Okay, so I decided to make something for breakfast for the guys who are gonna eat clean, which is just gonna be oats. Because, well, some people really need to eat breakfast in the morning. So really, this is just like a standard portion of oats with a little bit of maple syrup and some blueberries, and that's it. Now, I'm gonna read out the calories to you. On the left-hand side, if someone were to eat at Tori Q, get a curry puff in the morning, have fried pork chop with fried rice for dinner, and a regular baked Chargi milk tea. Curry puff has 246 calories. Tori Q meal has almost 1,000 calories, 966 calories. This over here, quite notorious for being very caloric dense, 1,000 calories as well, or thereabouts. And the Chargi milk tea would be sitting around 276 calories, okay? Now, on the right-hand side, eating the same foods, right? Eating at the same spots, still eating out, pretty much not preparing your own food except for the oats, which takes you literally 2 minutes, all right? In the morning, the oats only has 262 calories, okay? Lunch, we're getting Tori Q as well, but making different choices. you get 515 calories. Dinner, 358 calories. And that's with like an abnormally small amount of rice, right? Like if you want more rice, you could add it on, to be honest. And you know, the snack, or rather the drink in the middle of the day, the chuggy drink, that only has about 140 calories. So on the left hand side, we have a total of 2,495 calories, 294 grams of carbs, 88 grams of fat, and 82 grams of protein. And on the right hand side, we have 1,275 calories, 189 grams of carbs, 19 grams of fat only, and even more protein, 90 grams of protein. So this side, even though there's like quite a lot less volume of food, has the same or even just a little bit more protein, but almost half the number of calories, right? So this shows that even when you are eating out, even when you don't really wanna, go to the grocery store, like buy your food, come home, think about what to eat, clean, prep your food, cook it, like put it in the fridge, all that stuff. If you don't want to do all that stuff, you can still be in quite a huge deficit, right? Hit a somewhat okay protein intake. Let's not lie, 90 grams is quite bad, but hit a somewhat okay protein intake, But most importantly, you don't have to stress out about like meal prepping. You don't have to stress out about like spending a lot of money for a meal prep service. You can literally do it, as I've shown you, with the food options around your place. Okay, now it's time to get eating. I obviously can't eat all this food, so I'm gonna be giving it away. And yeah, okay, this is for you. I bought you guys food.
Oh,
thank you.
thank you.
Bye bye.
Happy success.
Thank you. Bye.
Don't be so quick to walk away. It's me. I wanna rock your body. Please stay. It's me. You don't have to admit you want away. It's me. Let me rock you to the break of day. It's me.
And we're back. Now in this bonus section of this video, I want to cover 3 quintessential topics that I feel are really important alongside the 3R method to ensure the highest chance of success. Number 1, mindfulness. Did you know it's actually really easy to reduce calories just by being more mindful? Because see, I bet you probably watch TV, probably scroll on TikTok, scroll on Instagram, maybe watch YouTube whilst you're having your meals. Like, you're probably incapable of having your meals without some sort of distraction. Now when this happens, eating becomes very rushed, right? And suddenly you're not conscious about how much you're eating and also what you're eating. And studies actually back this up, that eating whilst distracted actually causes you to eat more and also forget how much you've been eating. I guess the worst part about all of this is that you now associate eating with very high levels of dopamine. And so next time when you want to eat foods that maybe are a little less tasty, maybe a little bit more bland, you really aren't motivated to want to eat it at all because it doesn't compare to the dopamine hit you usually have eating what you want paired together with using social media or like watching TV. So I want to challenge you. Next time when you eat, try eating without any stimulation whatsoever. Really focus on enjoying the flavors of your food, enjoying the experience, almost as if you're doing a fine dining meal. You're gonna put your fork down in between every single bite, focusing on chewing slowly. This not only helps your hunger sickness catch up, but it also helps you to digest your food even better. And studies also back this. Just eating slower can reduce your caloric intake, simply because increasing meal duration and chewing time is linked to a lower body weight. Number 2, setting non-negotiables. Now, a busy professional like yourself probably faces a lot of unpredictable situations, right? Life throws you curveballs and suddenly you don't know what to do. So having a list of non-negotiables helps to prevent decision fatigue and gives you a lot more clarity when you do go out and eat. This concept is closely related to implementation intentions using the if-then framework. In a study, participants who formed detailed if-then plans, such as if I'm ordered dessert, I will order tea instead, adhered way better to their diet than those who just received generic tips. Sadly, this benefit is not shown to be helpful for individuals who already have a strong sense of planning. So maybe if you're one of those guys, this might not be super useful for you. But if you're kind of like me who needs a little bit more structure in their life, the if-then planning framework would be amazing. Last but not least, social pressure. The most important thing really. Like I mentioned earlier on in this video, for many busy working professionals like yourself, the problem isn't knowing what to eat, it's about everyone else around you. Human beings are really social creatures, and our eating is influenced by powerful psychological mechanisms. Many individuals experience direct pressure to eat unhealthy foods, and this can actually come in the form of sabotage. This is where friends or family intentionally undermine healthy eating behaviors by discouraging them or creating barriers. Now, it's worth it to understand that these behaviors are oftentimes motivated by people's insecurity and discomfort with how they feel about themselves. Because if you choose to eat healthy for yourself, your self-restraint actually highlights the choices they make in their lives. And a lot of people are not okay with that because it really takes the thoughts from the subconscious to their conscious. So what happens is they actually coax you to indulge together with them so that they can feel better about their own choices. Sounds familiar? That's because a lot of people really do this. So instead of recognizing this and saying, okay, I'm gonna hate you for it, just understand that most people are not doing this consciously. So forgive their behaviors and just be firm and remind them that you're gonna do what's best for yourself. If they wanna keep doing what they're doing, that's fine by you as well. Now, you've learned throughout this entire video, you don't need to choose between being social and getting lean. You just need a method that respects both. And simply put, 3R gives you just that. Now, we have come to the end of this video, but if you are still unsure on how to execute on any of the things that I talked about in this video, then what you want to do is book a free call with me down below in the description where I place a link, because I'm going to map out for you exactly how to implement 3R in your life, right? What to reduce, what to replace, what to request. We're going to go over your nutrition, the restaurants you like to visit, your calendar, and even your training. And if you find that helpful, if you have found this entire video helpful really, then don't forget to give us a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.